Welcome back to Desserts for Dummies. Today we're making peach pie and peach cobbler ice cream. Okay.
Calling all the youngers, all my fellas, fans and friends. Come down for Jam Festival time, 2003, 2004. Yeah, make them ball for more. Yeah, man. Say Jam girl always come down to a ball like extortion.
Alright, so we're getting started with the dough, starting with dry ingredients, flour, sugar, salt. I'm gonna add my butter with my clumsy self and work the butter into the flour mixture, being sure to kind of get those butter pieces worked in. This butter is cold and you want all your wet ingredients to be cold when you're making a pastry dough for the best flaky effect. Once I get those butter pieces mixed in there nicely and it's kind of like wet sand, I'm gonna add my egg and water mixture, and that's just one egg yolk and some water, and I didn't add all of it. I'm gonna add the rest once I get this dough worked in nicely. And once I add the rest, I'm gonna just knead this together really good until I get one uniform dough. And once I get that, I'm gonna wrap it up in some plastic wrap and put that in the refrigerator to chill out for a little bit. Alright, so we're gonna get started on our filling. Starting with the caramel part of this filling, I'm gonna start off with some butter, get that nice and melted. And add some brown sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg to make a nice spicy caramel for our peaches. So I've added my sugar and I want to get my sugar cooked down a little bit. And I've added my cinnamon and nutmeg as well. So once I get that cooked down, I'm going to add my peaches and cook that down a little bit more too. And get those peaches nice and incorporated in there and make sure I'm getting the peach flavor in that caramel sauce and caramel flavor in the peaches. And I'm going to just let that simmer for a little bit. My freezer comes. Alright, so I'm saving some of my caramel sauce to the side for my ice cream. So just saving that to put aside, and I'm going to continue to cook my peaches. So let that get nice and doused up. Cook it up good. Look at it. And I'm using canned peaches in this recipe. It was hard for me to find real peaches or just fresh peaches, and now of course I can find fresh peaches everywhere, but it was really hard to find good fresh peaches, so I just used canned peaches for this recipe. But you can always use fresh peaches. I always recommend fresh fruits. So I am removing some of the peaches from this pan, and I'm going to keep some that I'm going to cook more for my ice cream. And once I cook that down, I'm going to set that aside to cool and I'll chop it up. I did not record myself chopping it up, but yeah. So this is my caramel that I saved on the side. I'm adding some heavy whipping cream to that to thicken it up a bit to be a good, nice caramel sauce. And this caramel sauce, because it was cooked with the peaches, it's a little gelatinous from the pectin of the fruit. So it's looking a little thick, and it's gonna look even thicker when we do the ice cream. Like thick with 2 C's thick. Like thicker than a sneaker thick. Like Cardi or Nicki after the budget. Okay, so now I am getting my milk ready for my ice cream. I added the peaches and some of the caramel to that milk. I'm gonna bring that to a nice little boil. And while that's boiling, I'm gonna get my eggs ready. With some sugar. This is just egg yolks and sugar that I'm just whipping it up to become nice and thick and fluffy for the creamiest of creamy ice creams. I'm gonna bring that to a boil. The milk is coming to a boil. Okay, so once we got our milk boiling, we're gonna add that to our egg and sugar mixture, remembering to whip as we pour. You do not want to just dump it all in there because you'll cook your eggs. So this process is called tempering, and we're just tempering the eggs with the milk, getting it nice and whipped up. Alright, so once that's nice and thick, we're gonna put that in the refrigerator and start working on our dough. So I am rolling out this dough right now, and I want it to be kind of large because the skillet that we're baking in is actually a deep dish porcelain skillet bowl. So it looks like a skillet, but it's actually just porcelain, and it's very deep, and I need to have as much dough as possible. I try not to rip it. I need to have as much dough as possible to make sure it goes in nice and deep and it fills the whole thing. So as you can see, I have some ripping going on, and we can patch that up, we can cover that up because like I said, it's deep. I've got some pulling and some ripping, but patch that in. Don't forget to patch it in. No cracks. You don't want any cracks or any holes once you add your filling, because that's not going to be good. It's gonna seep out. It's not gonna be cute at all. There we go. I lost some footage. I folded in my edges after cutting it, but I lost some of that footage, but I'm gonna let you know that I did that, okay? Alright, so I'm prepping some strips for my lattice using a little pastry cutter. So I have my peaches in the pan, and like I said, I lost some footage, and I'm using the egg whites from my egg yolk that I used in the dough to be my egg wash and to glue this whole thing together. Okay, so the lettuce is done. I am going to now just press the dough pieces together with a fork, a real rustic, homemade look. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just egg wash with the rest of my egg whites and sprinkle some turbinado sugar on there. And put that in the oven. Alright, so while that's baking, I'm adding my heavy cream to my cold previous just ice cream base. And now I'm going to throw that in my ice cream maker. And we're gonna whip it up. Alright, so now that my ice cream is nicely whipped up, I am adding that to my little ice cream container. And at the bottom, you see there's stuff already added. It's caramel and pastry dough that I baked off from my offcuts from the pie. And I crushed up a little bit and I poured some caramel down on the bottom of the container. And I'm adding ice cream on top of that. And I'm also going to just swirl in that same caramel and that same pastry dough. There I am adding that, like I said, gelatinous caramel. It's very jelly because of the pectin. Nothing special that I added, is just from the peaches.
Purchase your tracks today.
And there goes the baked off pastry dough. And then more ice cream on top. And then this is where the magic happens. I'm swirling that through the ice cream. And I am adding more of that caramel. And more of that pastry dough. I'm just gonna swirl that in again after adding just a smidge more ice cream. And there you have it, folks. Don't forget to subscribe.